Hamflet, another great show.
You're joking. Not another one?
Just another Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. Look, I have no problem admitting when I was wrong. And I was wrong because I said that I believed in my guts that like the Triple H era, despite him telling you was starting at WrestleMania, was actually coming to an end. And his latest quest appears to be to get rid of the post-WrestleMania lull, that feeling that we all have, that like big show hangover, the big payoff hangover, all that sort of stuff. I found it, there's lots to talk about on this Raw, and I can't wait to dig into it, but I found it interesting how like Cody Rhodes almost intentionally minimized his participation on this, even referring to himself as a SmackDown superstar, as if to separate himself from Raw and let Raw sort of stand up for itself. No Rock, no WrestleMania of any description. It's like, here's all the new stuff, all the new stuff. The new stuff's pretty hot. So like, maybe he'll just carry on. Maybe this is the next Vince goes to exercise of, it doesn't have to be rubbish after WrestleMania. That was just something they decided to do for 30 years. Like, maybe he'll try that next. I'm all for it.
I've got some exciting personal news to share.
Oh,
Really?
I didn't know about this.
I have completed my medical degree, my supplementary foundational education, and I'm now Junior Dr. Fed.
Yes! Well, welcome to the practice.
Not really. I will say that the Intercontinental Title division from the beginning, well, tracing it back to Gunther's reign.
I thought you were going to go full like mid-2010s. Tracing it back to your Perfects and your Sean's and your Bretts.
But going back to the Gunther reign and specifically the start of 2024 and where we've ended up, it is a masterpiece of booking. I'm in love with it. In my stomach, in my guts, I feel this deep, almost awestruck affinity with how well it's all gone. And I think it's the best booking of pro wrestling I've seen this year.
Wow.
Outside of the formation of the Elite. But this feels like, I don't know, like way more effective. I just think it's incredible, and I cannot wait to unpack all of the reasons when we get to that main event.
Very surreal yesterday. It was me and Sid obviously previewing Monday Night Raw. We were both just so giddy to get to this match and talk about this match.
This match, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the whole show.
No.
Come on, let's
we're not quite there yet. But because I think a lot of people were concerned whenever it happened, obviously it happened at Mania, but whenever it happened, when Gunther dropped that title, is that title going to slowly or instantly just suddenly be like, that's a mid-card title again? And yet the way that they've booked it, from obviously the surprise of Sami winning through to the inevitable, when are we getting this Chad thing? We thought it might happen at the Raw after Mania. Me and Sid said the moment Chad celebrated after the Imperium win and walked behind him, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they booked the big match for this week. They've, like you say, they've really maintained that prestige and the excitement around that belt.
Crystallizes the difference as well. I think those differences between the old regimes and the new regime are really becoming actually worth talking about. And like we're talking market improvements, not just on this incredibly low bar, but like the difference is the part-timer used to go away and you'd think, oh, nothing else is really interesting anymore. The part-timer never came in for this storyline, and it's like significantly better as a result. Like, obviously Brock Lesnar is a complete piece of shit. We know that, but if you're being truly honest with yourself, before all this happened, the prospect of a motivated Brock versus Gunther, I mean, that was going to be an incredible match if Brock Lesnar brought the very best of his game. Now I'm just, for the wrong reasons, for the right reasons, I'm obviously happy that it hasn't happened. But even for the wrong reasons, I'm like, it's better.
Well, it's a multifariously good pivot, this, isn't it? Because if you take Brock as the challenger, and that was seemingly, we've all been kind of like informed that was the case, and it would have been an awesome match. The worries that we had around Christmas of, I think Gable's just done, guys. I think it's time to give up on that dream, were founded. It wasn't going to be Gable. Yeah. But in deciding to go with Sami Zayn as a star, not quite on Brock Lesnar level, but nearly, and you can tell a different story with Sami, and then to fold Gable back in to make all of this work is, like, again, we're talking main event stuff now, but
Sami did more interesting stuff with Roman than Brock Lesnar ever did.
Exactly. Yeah. There's Sami had made enough of an argument to earn that spot 10 times over, but then at the same time, such is the way that like Triple H seems to have a good hand on everything at the moment. Why waste that feeling that people had for Chad Gable? Why not fold him back in at just the right time that you get to where we've got to today, where like, you know, there's another old Intercontinental title story before it all went bad is like Sami Zayn's a modern day Ricky Steamboat having just defeated Randy Savage, and Chad Gable's an ultra worker honky tonk man that could take it all away any day now. And they're doing that again. And that, you know, that sticks in people's minds as a time when the belt meant everything and it could mean everything again if Gable is cruel enough to take this belt from him. Like the short reign is not some sort of, oh, we've just done this to pop the building on the night and then we'll worry about that in a couple of weeks. The short reign could now be full of just heartbreak because Gable is like having to exercise his own ghosts of what happened with his own family. And it's been thought through from what was obviously a plan B. They've not just gone, well, it's plan B, so we can't make it good. It's like, it's plan B. Let's make it feel like better than what plan A was going to be. That's the sign of good booking.
Yeah, and to talk about the momentum attempting to be continued after WrestleMania, a little bit of a cheat code. You know, they've booked a women's world title match for this SmackDown this week. They've booked a tag title match for next week on Raw. Whatever happens with Rhea Ripley's world title, I think is going to be resolved or at least set up on next week's Raw, whether it be a tournament or literally just a crowning of a new champion after a match or just, there you go, whatever they want to do. But I think in fairness to WWE, previously, if we'd have said, right, the week after the Raw after WrestleMania, they're going to do an IC title match and you take Gunther out of the picture, you'd have been like, that's not main eventing. Unless it's hometown and you want to be really cruel to the hometown person, as they always used to do. The excitement I felt throughout this show when you knew it was going to be the main event, they announced it was going to be the main event, the tension, Sidge, of, he's got a bit of an injury. And we talked about this. We talked about the possible conclusions to this match and how they will all be viable and enjoyable, whether he cheats to win, whether he sees an opportunity to cheat and doesn't do it or whatever, or whether, as we saw what happened, not to get ahead of ourselves, he fights fair and then snaps and goes, that's it, I've been the nice guy for far too long. I thought it was just really, really well played out. Yeah,
like across the show, I think there was like a number of different standout things. It's a Tuesday and we're talking about Raw. There was a number of standout things I enjoyed, but
It's normal now, isn't it?
Yeah, there continues to be a number of things there are to enjoy most weeks on Raw.
Don't worry if there's any haters listening to this podcast. Trust me, I hated a lot of it. So we'll get there. Don't worry. Still the same podcast, still the same stuff.
The best,
still the same good stuff.
The best, like, it was at WrestleMania, we haven't really talked about this, but like it was too tell don't show for me, and just how insistent Triple H was on making it clear, this is my thing now. Dead is gone. And that was what he was saying. But the funniest thing he did was America the Beautiful. I didn't need him to say New Era. It was like, that's a real old school Triple H. That's right out of the 2003 playbook, that one, you bastard. Like, I kind of love that. But this, like, the best comparison I can make to WWE doing this for real once upon a time and not needing to say it's happening is WrestleMania 14 and Steve Austin being crowned as champion as a toast of like how this star has been on the rise and now nothing can stop WWE under the steam of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Raws after WrestleMania in the immediate aftermath weren't WWE slowing down, they were speeding up. It didn't matter that Austin only had like Mick Foley to work with because Triple H remembers it, he was there carrying Shawn Michaels' bag. But like there he was ready to like take on DX, who were mega over, against the Rock's Nation of Domination, who were mega over. Steve Austin had Vince McMahon, so it didn't matter that he didn't have wrestlers to fight. That product was hot and just needing one show to confirm it as such. And then in the aftermath of WrestleMania, there were all these stars that were either just fitting in or just about to break through that you had an entire summer to look forward to, and that gets you to like a SummerSlam that, like, you'll remember, Sidge, almost felt as hot as wrestling.
Oh, it was ridiculous. Highway to Hell.
It was like, WrestleMania's just seeing the end of 97 and the bad period for business. By 98, it's like the summer's been unbelievable. There's 50 new guys. Val Venus is saying, what? like everything was hot. This is the kind of summer, if you look at a Raw now, this is the kind of summer WWE could have, because there's a bunch of wrestlers that were there or thereabouts. In the post-WrestleMania season, traditionally, it's like, who's going to get a chance in the draft? Jinder. It wasn't because there was somebody that had earned it. It was just, we're just going to take a punt on it. Like, Sid, your annual list, the random post-WrestleMania push.
Yeah, it can't write anymore.
I used to love doing that
10 candidates for WWE's bizarre post-WrestleMania push.
These are just people that have been nicely slotted in, ready for the post-WrestleMania.
We had the
season.
Shining Stars.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal. Who else got that weird, make Darren Young great again? What are we doing
Lacey
here?
Evans smashing Becky Lynch with the women's right night after 35.
Yeah.
Like, it was all the time. It was sure as the rain, as you'd say. And now it's like, well, no, the slots are for the people that were clearly on the come up and we have either had a big Mania moment or are about to have one now, like a Gable. It doesn't feel like it needs to slow because of the things that have been put in place.